Hi everyone, Bart from HVN here, and today I wanted to make a quick gear review, a two-parter actually, because I have two items from the same maker, Poker Armories from Poland, that I wanted to review. And the first one that I wanted to review is their messer. This is what they are now calling the Matthaus messer on their web shop. I bought this together with the other item that I will be reviewing in another video later on. About a year, maybe a year and a couple months ago, from the maker directly, not from their web shops. I interacted with the smith Simon Ozark from Poker Armory, who is also the owner, I believe, directly through Facebook. It was a very pleasant experience. He was very communicative, had a lot of questions about how I wanted the blades to be finished and what sort of hilting options I wanted. It was a very nice experience, and I very much recommend them for that. I, of course, have no experience with the web shop, but I assume it'll be just as pleasant. So for the review of this messer, I first just wanted to go over some quick stats, and then a few of the pros and cons, and then a discussion of my personal experience and considerations. So first off, the weight. My scale is on the fritz, unfortunately, at the moment, but I believe this to be somewhere between 850 and 900 grams, so just 100 grams below kilo-ish. The overall length is just over 90 centimeters, of which about 74 centimeters is blade length, about 12 centimeters is the grip, and the entire hilt is just over 16 centimeters, including the pommel. The balance point is just about 11.5, 12 centimeters from the crossguard. And I don't quite recall how much I paid for it at the time, but the current MSRP on this messer is 215 euros, which is just a hair under most of the other messers on the market. So, pros for this, it is rather affordable. It is a little bit cheaper than most of the other messers I've found. Not incredibly cheap or anything. 215 euros is more or less standard for a lot of blades on the market these days. Most messers are a little bit more expensive because they usually come with a little bit more complex hilt work. The other pro is that it has a lot of different options, even if you're just sort of buying off the shelf. This one came with a curl tip. But I believe these days you can also get it with a thickened point if you so desire. They have a lot of different options for the crossguard. It comes with or without a knuckle bow. It comes with a ring, such as this one does, or it can come with a more traditional nagel. And I believe they also have a bare wood version right now for a more like historical look, or leather, or like this one does, cord. Different color options as well. So plenty of options to choose from. That's quite nice. I really like the handling of this one. The balance point, like I said, is... I think it's relatively normal for most one-handed weapons to be somewhere between 10 and 15 centimeters. This one just feels very smooth in the hand. It starts and stops easily. You still feel that there is some weight behind it, as you should, but it's quite quick. It's nice, and it's nice and nimble to use. I actually prefer... For a long time, I preferred to use this one for all my 133 sword work over just a regular... I think my other one-hander that I have is a Berberkutz, and I think I prefer this one in terms of handling. And it's quite solidly made is the last pro that I can give for this one. I've been using it quite hard for a while now, and I hope you can see this. The edge does take some dings here and there, which is as to be expected, but it's not taken any set so far. The hilt is super solid. There's no like deep ding cracks or burrs, and yeah, it's held up quite nicely. So that's as for the pros. Now for the cons. the biggest con that I have for this one is that quite quickly after getting it, you might be able to hear this, the hilt started rattling. Now that's one of my pet peeves. I really don't like it when crossguards rattle. I filled up the gap a little bit with some cordage, but it's still rattling a little bit, and I hope that they're able to fix this. I think it's just like an early developer bug that they were trying to work out, because this was a very early model, I believe. But yeah, that's a bit of a pet peeve of mine. Like I said, doesn't affect the effectiveness or the handling of the sword in any way. It's just a little bit annoying. I hope it doesn't get any worse, but yeah. So another con, this is a little bit more subjective, is that it is rather on the stiff side. Not so stiff as to be actually dangerous. It does still flex, but it's stiffer than I would have decided on had I designed this sword. But hey, there you go. I believe this is in accordance with the regulations set out by the Polish HEMA Federation, who apparently like their swords to be a little bit on the stiffer side. I'm not sure why, maybe handling, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, it's not unsafe, but you do want to maybe pull your thrusts a little bit sometimes. Like, don't actively punch into somebody's gut, because they will not like you for it. And yeah, the last con that I have is that it's a little bit utilitarian in its looks. There are some like less finished bits here and there. There's some grinding marks, and usually I don't mind too much for that. But what I did notice is that in the pommel, you might be able to notice that here, that there are some sharp edges here and there. I've not noticed that in terms of my gloves or my hand getting snagged on them, but it could have been finished a little bit more smoothly. Wouldn't have taken a lot of time, and it would have affected the looks a lot. Would have been a good thing. But yeah. So now as to my personal experience, I bought this one both for just general messer work, but also to have a one-handed sword to work with, basically. Just a general one-handed sword, which is why I didn't go for a more classical messer. I actually preferred this one because of its straight blade and more or less parallel edges. That way I can also use this one as a stand-in for an arming sword, which I do quite often. I used this at Long Point 2019. Was quite happy with its with how it worked there. So overall, I am very happy with this messer, but I do realize that it's not for everyone. You could say that this messer directly competes with messers from makers such as Landsknecht Emporium and Kveton Armories. Both of those are a little bit more expensive, but they are also more messer-y, you could say. They have a more historical look to them, and they usually have a bit more of a curved blade. They just look the part a little bit more than this one does. But often, because of that, not only are they a bit more expensive, but they're also heavier, and they are less able to be used safely in sparring, from what I've been able to see. Now, this may be a generalization. Maybe Landsknecht Emporium has come up with a messer that is very useful in sparring and very safe to use. I don't know, but from what I've seen so far, this one can be used more easily for hard sparring without injuring the opponent. And that's what I was looking for. So you could say that this is a bit more of a sporty messer, but that's not a bad thing in my opinion. That makes it possible for you to use a little bit more intensity when sparring and to be able to use it in tournaments. And that's exactly what I was looking for. So, caveat emptor, I guess. Know what you're buying, but if you're looking for a fun, affordable, easy to use in sparring, one-handed training tool is the name that they gave to this thing first. then this is a very good choice. I would probably, given the options of current measures, I would probably buy this one again because of my own personal preferences. But yeah, like I said, good option for someone who wants a quick, fun little sword for not too much money. So the next video of the Poker Armory item that I have will be up in a couple days probably, and I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching.